Hello everyone and welcome to the third episode. We are on the fourth turn of BIOS Megafauna 2. So let's check out what's been happening. We've drawn our events on the last turn already. Green's doing fine with lots and lots of mutations. Orange is a lot less, what would you call it, adapted towards the environment, but has speciated into fish. Fish creatures are octopus creatures with these cool propulsion things. And we've got white. What's white been doing? They've also been adapting a lot, becoming the predominant herbivores in Siberia. So first we've got the ultra-plinian V8 eruption winter. The volcanic explosive. We've got the winter. That's nice because it's been pretty hot lately. The volcanic explosivity index, VEI, there is not such a thing, is there? Is a relative measure of the explosiveness of pyroclastic volcanic eruptions. Massive volcanic eruptions with a VEI of 5 and higher increase haze and clouds, which reflect solar radiation and cool the planet. So we've got 1 and 6. We've got nothing on latitudes 1. And we've got something on latitude 6. Right, what happens on latitude 6? Let me check the rules, because I still have not got that into my system, because mostly my games have been hot. I'm not sure if games end up hot too much, or if it's just me. I have seen an ice age once, so it's not as if it doesn't happen. For latitude is a white dice icon. It's not a white dice icon, I'm an idiot. Okay, so we know what happens. There's no grass, nothing happens there. Right on. We've got a crater, so the volcano that's erupting in Laurentia. So this is the one time in the game where we roll dice. So there's this crater icon in Laurentia. We roll the die, it's a 1. So there's a volcano erupting from here, making things cooler and making this uninhabitable. So the decision we made not to populate into here with the fish actually paid off. I mean, it was luck, but there you go. It was a good decision. It's good that we're here in Baltica, even though we have to be a carnivore to these crazy plant creatures. Then we've got ocean evaporation. Warm air evaporates seawater faster and faster and holds more moisture. If there is dust, ash and debris from volcanoes or impacts in the air, photosynthesis is impaired. So we've got all the white disks from the planet that are going into the atmosphere or the clouds. There are none. Then, if there is cloud cover, the other things happen. But there is no cloud cover, as you can see. We don't have enough stuff evaporated into the clouds, so we don't care about these things, and this is the state of the game for this turn. White starts. Pull up White's sheet again. There's still no way to actually raft over here, because there's nothing at the end. What we can do is raft over to this place, either from here all the way here and it wraps around because the planet's round, or from number 4 from here it end up on this place. So the planet's actually pretty connected at this point, and players are closer to each other than it seems, though as I just told you, you can only ever go left because that's where the wind blows. Okay, what mutations are available? I've got more green. And we would like green, but we cannot afford pretty much anything because we are totally spread out. So at this point, do we have to think about speciating? And speciating, right now we are the best plant eaters. So we would prefer to remain that. And to be able to populate some. So what we are going to do is we don't need this icon. We're actually going to I'd like the 2 cubes. I would like them. Got 3 actions. I'm still going to do this. Or it only works if white's got no, if green's got... Do I have creeples left? No. Okay, so we cannot do this action. This one. The mutuality action. So I guess we cannot explain this right now because it's not possible. It'll turn up later. And what do we do instead? Yeah, I guess I'll promote this. Put the cubes on here. And we actually get a blue monster. So we get a Godzilla, dragon, something creature. This side. So what does it have? Butting antlers. And these are very good for blue procreation because they give you this monster token. And this is worth as many blue organs as your creature has size. If you've got size 1, it's just worth 1 blue token. Meh. It's not that useful, but it's something. And since we see that the oceans are being contested, instead, what we're going to do is we are going to speciate into this creature. And what kind of creature are we speciating into? First, we're getting some cubes. We're getting a green cube. We're getting... let me check that. We're getting a blue one. We're getting another blue one because our archetype has these basal organs. And so we're going to do the same. We are now a cellulose methanogen of size 2 in our second species. And we are going to speciate here. And this is the burrowing creature type. It has no massive advantages over any others. It doesn't move differently like some other creature types do, but it's a bit rarer than the others as far as I can tell. There's not that many burrowing speciations available, while for swimmers and flyers there's actually a lot. So right now we are in this shape, and because different shapes can't eat each other except the archetype, everything can eat the archetype. Different shapes, however, different creeple shapes cannot eat each other, and so the archetype here, the green one, can't eat this one, so we're going to speciate into this, and this is going to be endangered. It most likely will be killed off if green doesn't have a white icon. If green has a white cube, which they do, they can actually move after this. So green's not out just yet. Green's just endangered species. So that was 1 action, 2 actions, and the populate action would be number 3. 1, 2 for the cubes, and 3 for the action. So we've got 3 new of these worm creatures, of these cellulase methanogen. Termites depend upon the... Oh, so we're termites. Okay. So where do we go next? We go to black, who does not exist, and green, who does. Green also has to think about speciation at this point. There are some more horror creatures down here. But since green now has to worry about eating worms, green has no mutation available that allows them to speciate. You can see upper right and upper left, all the icons that are on the backside. So we need any sort of speciation, which we cannot afford. Okay, so now we ran into a problem because while we bought everything available, it just wasn't enough. We're going to take some more mutations. At this point we have a ridiculous amount of organs. Because we have a white organ, that actually allows us 2 extra organs, including the white one. So we've got a high limit. We've got a limit of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we've got 8 plus 2. So we actually are allowed this many organs. We can use a neoteny action to get rid of one of those cubes if we wanted, because you really don't want to lose these. But that's not an issue at this point, because we can just lose mutations. So we've got so many more cubes. 2 actions down. Oh, this one gives us a green monster token. Wonderful. Right, so this one goes on here. We are increasing our basal organs. We cannot connect this to the emotion things. You never lose your emotions, even if you lose the cubes. But you can only have one emotion train of creatures active, so we would lose this one if we lost the green monster token that it gives us. So this one's worth 4 green cubes, which is massive. It also counts as 4 organs for losing organs, and that's a bit of a problem. But now we are the best herbivores. So now people can't just outcompete us out of the plant eater refugia. So we quite enjoy that. And that's 3 actions, I think. Yeah, we bought 2 things. And promoted this, so we've got 2 more left. This one moves down. No, we've got 1 more left. We only have 4 actions. It's only warm. It's not a hothouse. Change this. Okay, now it's warm. Good. And do we want to promote another thing? Now we can do this. We want to promote this one. Rotate it. There we go. We also can't use the emotions on this, but it's still in our size allowance. So we were taking it. We couldn't do the other mutation because it's a max size of 1. So we now are a zombie master. And are we anywhere where there's others? Yeah, there's the white ones on here. I don't think the extinct ones count there. I can't use the mutualism anymore with these, but I can use it with this one. And this means I get to pick one of their unborn creatures, either on this card, which there aren't any, or on here, and put it on my card. So I'm basically stealing it, I'm commandeering it, I'm the zombie commander, sort of, with horsehair worms or whatever. And this is basically 1 extra victory point every era. No, not every era, but it counts as 1 more creeple on the board, pretty much. It's as if I always had a creeple on the board. Because this is the archetype, and archetypes often tend to go extinct, it's not worth that much, but at least White's not allowed to use it anymore, so we like that. We are vindictive. Because we have been pretty much competed out of this place, and it looks kind of dangerous. Except now we are the best herbivore in the game. So that's that. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's our actions. We are not populating because we can't. We don't have any creatures left. That was green's turn. And now we have orange. Never forget orange. Cards are being replaced. And orange can actually buy quite a few mutations, and I think we've seen that this is an opportunity that should be taken advantage of, as green has demonstrated. So we are taking this with our archetype, because this allows for either a mutation to becoming a really good herbivore, or it allows for becoming a kind of species that's poisonous, and poisonous species aren't as easily eaten by others. Do we actually want it on the fish? Because now we actually have to separate our species. Do we actually want this on the fish? We want to be good fish. We want to be the plant-eating fish. We want to be the plant-eating ones of the fish, not the carnivores. So we do this, and we want another thing. We probably want to move faster and populate more. So we're going to buy this, and then we're going to populate 3 fish. Do we actually have, before I commit to it, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's enough possible biomes. Might even be able to swim over here. 1, 2. It takes fish 2 movement points to get over land, which is a bit unintuitive, but there you go. They can move 3. 1, 2, 3. Nah, it's not enough. They need 4. So next turn I guess I have to size up or get another blue cube, if I want to do that. But there's enough space for now, so we're going to populate the fish. White is going to get some worms going, and right now we want to be the plant eaters, and as much as we hate it, Mr. Green has actually taken over the plant eating niche. They have got tentacles. Oh god, these plants are getting crazy. Pheromones, zombie master, tentacle plant. These really are horror creatures, aren't they? And they build nests. They probably lay eggs, guys. Yeah. Creepy plants. So we've got nothing to do with these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got 5 movement points, which we could use to outcompete orange over there. So that's what we're gonna do with the last creeper. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. That's in this latitude 4. That's also latitude 4. So we are allowed this much movement. So this one has to become a carnivore, and since it can't eat this thing, it's going to become endangered. Yeah. But that's for the later phase. So now green, come on, green, there it is. Green doesn't do anything, and orange is populating the fish. So we're going here, fish can't quite move as far as I would like, so 1, 2, 3. So they're on this biome. I keep picking them from the wrong place. And here, in case somehow green decides to become a fish, which right now they can't, but I'm sure they'd love to if they had the opportunity. Good, everything's done. Good. So now we've got competitions. Green. Does green have the white organ? Yes, they do. So because green does have the white organ, they have now got one chance to save their cripple by moving it somewhere where it can survive. So we've got lots of movement points. We've got 7, 8, 9, 10 movement points. That's overkill. That's absolute overkill. So because we are doing this, we cannot move into somebody else's trophic level. We can only go to 3 places. So we could become a carnivore here, or here, or here. But what we're going to do is we are going to raft over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to end up here, unendangered, taking up Orange's spot. So the plants have done massive migrations. They exist on every single space on the map, every single canton, and they're horrible. I always have a tough time dealing with plants in this game. I forgot about these. Gotta remove these. More mutations. Any other contests? Right, we've got this contest. Well, I was pretty sure White was gonna out herbivore this guy, so he goes up there, becomes endangered. And because Orange doesn't have a white organ on their archetype, this one actually just dies. It comes back into the supply, where it is no longer endangered because it's dead. And the other ones, I don't think so. You can see the competition is starting to ramp up. There's lots of creatures. There's just these worm thingies. What were they? These white things. Right, the termites. They are burrowing into the other continent, having rafted over a sort of split up continental plate that moved at breakneck speeds of 2 or 3 centimeters an hour onto the next plateau. So these are not swimming termites. It's just somehow simulates extremely unlikely events happening at very long intervals of time. Good. So we're going into turn 5. We're good on time, so we can afford that. I think it's the last turn I'm going to play today. I'm going to save the game just to make sure, because my computer has been known to crash. Turn 4. Start. 5. Start. Turn 5. Start. There we go. And it's going to happen now. We are going to take another event card. And oh dear, it's the last event of Era 1. That means we're gonna fill up Era 2, and at the end of Era 1, 3, 4, 5, just making sure. At the end of Era 1, we're going to do a preliminary counting of who has the most cripples, and whoever has the most, they get to get more points than everybody else. Right, here we have this symbol here, which means this is actually stable. So this time not too much stuff happens. I shouldn't say that yet though. So the solar system exits the spiral arm. Small stars like Sol don't orbit at the same rate as the galaxy spiral arms. During the course of the game, Sol has crossed 5 arms: the Perseus, Norma, Scutuma, Crux, Sagittarius, Carina, and Orion arms. Exiting each arm decreased the galactic cosmic rays and low cloud formation. This led to 5 cold snaps: the Odovican, Silurian, I'm not going to read all these names, and the recent Pliocene, Pleistocene Ice Age. So it sounds like things are getting colder, which everybody except the plant does not really mind. Now we have the first continental collision. These are always wonderful. So we've got Gondwana moving right. So smoosh. Everything that was would have been on here would have been smooshed, but there was nothing. Then this disk gets degassed into the atmosphere. It gets replaced by a mountain because these continents sort of collide and create massive mountains. And since green can't live there, green gets endangered. But green can, because they are endothermic, move away afterwards. So green is not that concerned yet. Though they will have to find an empty space, and there might not be any empty spots left, so there will be empty spots left, yeah. Because orange was nice enough to go swimming, there's not much of a problem in this case. Alright, what else happens? There's a deluge. Right, so if there were forests on the oceans, those would have been flushed out. Do the black discs also get flushed out in deluges? Seriously, these are somehow... they're pretty simple events, but they're somehow the most difficult for me to get a grasp on. Liberate all discs, black or green, on seas, but not offshores. Oh, so there's actually a disc liberated on there. Because there was a volcanic eruption, and the volcano has now been washed over. And we've got one white disk going into the atmosphere. What? How is that cooling? Is this a warring event? During the course of the game, Sol has crossed 5 arms. It exits the spiral arm. Exiting each arm decreased the galactic cosmic rays and low cloud formation. So it gets warmer, and green suddenly has 5 actions, but a lot less. No, actually the same amount of allotted organs. So green is happy as can be. And the Medea card didn't even help them at this point. I don't know if there's a point in taking it away from them, because it takes up all your actions to take it. So green stays in control of the climate. I mean, they are actually the worst off player this time, so usually in my games green has been pretty dominant. So we've got orange to go first. The fishies. Now what are the fishies going to do? The fishies are going to become more populous. They cannot buy this, it's too expensive. So they're instead going to promote this one to get a basal organ, get another here. And I have to take care of my orange archetype, because at the end of this round I want to be populous to make points. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna increase my size here to 2. I'm taking this back. I know it's a bit annoying for you guys to watch, but probably cannot afford it this way. Taking one of these, I can take out this one or this one. I can take a venomous stinger, which is gonna be very good for the archetype. It's a max size of 3. So we can actually size up to 3. We buy this. 1. We size up to 3. And we speciate, we populate. So there's going to be 4 orange discs. And there's still enough space to actually go. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, they can raft over here. Good. So now we've got green. There are still no green creeples back, so we are still very much... Yeah, we just expanded too much. That was a mistake. I guess it was never really a problem for me, so I didn't have to. It was a mistake. So we're going to take hormones. Yellow. We've got 5 actions. Because this... And we've got hormones. Didn't we have something like that already? Pheromones and hormones. And these hormone-like proteins. This is a massively mutated plant. But that's exactly why I'm taking that thing. Because I'm promoting it here. And I'm getting a white monster mutation. Which is worth 4 white cubes. Allowing me 8 additional mutations. We're gonna up that number to 6, so that's 1 bot, 1 promoted, 2, 3, 4, and we've got 5 actions, so I can even take this. I've never had a creature like this. This is big. It's really big. Oh man. But it can afford to lose a lot. And because of the white cubes as insurance, it's got now 12 extra organs because of its size. That's massive. Okay. I think this species might just break the game, but it won't actually because everybody else is so much more spread out. So it's not actually breaking the game, it just feels like it. And still can be eaten by everyone because it's an archetype. Developing tools with this species is going to be a good idea. Yeah, I will be able to promote this. I won't be able to capitalize on the second monster token I could have, but there's gonna be lots of organs. Yeah, that's... Green's in an interesting place, let's say that much. They will be able to eat the worms if they take the right tools. And that's what tools do, by the way. They let you eat shapes that are not your shape. So that's basically the way to make your archetype survive into the later game. It needs tools. Which is kind of odd, but usually you'd expect the more advanced species to develop the tools, but actually your archetype needs it a lot more. Because the advanced species already have better food sources. So now we've got white. And white also has a bit of a problem with being too spread out. They have these worms, huh? So there's 3 more worms left. We'll definitely speciate these. We'll buy one of those for them. We're definitely populating these. So they've got some extra herbivority. I forgot to give them a size cube. That's why I didn't realize they had a second species. Okay. We're gonna populate them. And we're also going to buy one of these, which allows for promotion into flying species at a later date. and they also have the possibility of becoming fish. Yeah, white's doing really well. And orange is too. And green is having at least an interesting game, even though right now they got a bit screwed. But it was green's own fault. It's not random chance. It's if you populate too much, you can't adapt to the environment. That's I should have realized that. It's never happened to me before, just like this. But I'm just not drawing any cards with the speciation icon on this exact base. So that's actually quite possible. So you know, look out for that if you play this game. Am I still recording? I am still recording. Good. So now we are going to swarm out. And orange isn't even going to try to compete with the plant eater. It's just going to become a carnivore. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 movement points. 1, 2, 3. 4. 2, 3. 2. That's 2. And is white still edible? I think white is edible. And I think it was green who's trying to become poisonous, right? No, it's not green. Who's becoming poisonous? Oh, I am. Okay. So we are actually going to go on here. I don't think we are going to outcompete white. No, they've got too many green cubes, so we can't outcompete them, so we're just gonna eat them. So orange is in a bit of a precarious position, but he swarmed out a lot because he does not want to be the least popular species. He wants to get some victory points at the end of this turn, so it's important to have your guys on the map. And he's big, so that's also something. What is this? It looks dangerous. Tube used for laying eggs. Okay. There we go. That was orange. Next up is green, who is again not able to populate anything. So that's gonna come back to bite him. But they've got a massive advantage in everything else, so they will come back, I think. Because they will give their offspring a lot of mutations with a lot of organs on the way, which will make them very competitive. And we've got 3 of these worm things. Oof. I don't care much about green because green's doing well. Can I outcompete orange? I can. So I will compete orange out of these spots and just plain outright kill his guys. So that was white. Now we've got competition. The fish decided not to compete. The archetypes here decided not to compete. They just eat the other guys. But these guys are competing. They cannot be eaten. Orange still can't flee, I think. No, he doesn't have a white cube. So these are discarded, discarded. Probably giving white the most points this turn. Because now we have arrived at the end of Era 1. I'll just check up on the scoring rules. Make sure I get these correct. So now we've got fossil awards. Each player counts his living creeples. Also count as your population any host creeples that are on mutualism cards in your tableau. So right, we've got green. We pretty much got those 7 on the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, well. Oh, this one went endangered. I forgot about this. So can it flee anywhere? I think it can. It definitely can. It can go over here. Even become an herbivore. There's still some space left on this planet, though it's getting crowded. And yeah, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the board, plus 8. So we've got, just type it in, green 8. Then we've got orange. Orange has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 creeples on the board. Orange 10. And last but most likely not least, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's closer than I thought. White 12. So this means white gets 2 points because they have more than the other two people, the other two creatures. So they got 2 of these fossils. And orange has more than green, so orange gets 1 of them. These points, they don't really decide the game, because in the end you score every single creeple on the board. So at the end of era 1 the game's all definitely not decided yet. It's just a kind of advantage that you get. So then, fossil awards. For each player that has fewer creeples than you, take 1 fossil from the public pool and put it into your personal fossil record as a permanent record of your earned VP. Yeah, good. So we have finished this turn number 5, and we will now be going into the next era, era number 2. It's another 5 cards, which will be a great solar flare Forbush. We are in a hothouse climate at this point. Change, 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 change. It's very hot. And what does this mean? We're gonna look at that next time. I think I'm done for today. I've done enough of these for now. I'll continue at a later date. Make sure to save the file. ET event just run. I hope you can follow everything I'm doing. And I'll see you next time, when we are going to see what the great solar flares are going to do to the planet and what lies ahead. Thank you very much for watching. And that's it for me.